Good morning, everyone. I am presenting Journal Club on the topic Cutaneous lymphadenoma is a distinct trichoblastoma like lymphoepithelial tumor with diffuse androgen receptor immunoreactivity, Notch1 ligand in Reed-Sternberg like cells, and common EGFR somatic mutations. The study was conducted by Montegudo et al. In the Department of Pathology, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, University of Valencia, Spain. Published in American Journal of Surgical Pathology. Introduction. Cutaneous lymphoadenoma is characterized by lobules of basaloid cells with peripheral palisading and a dense fibrous stroma. Numerous small lymphocytes are present within the lobules and a limited number are found in the stroma. Intralobular Langerhans cells are usually numerous. An outstanding feature is the presence of large Reed-Sternberg-like cells with amphiphilic cytoplasm, vesicular nuclei, and prominent nucleoli. Some authors propose that cutaneous lymphadenoma was a variant of trichoblastoma, for which they propose the term adamantoid trichoblastoma. Although some authors have proposed that cutaneous lymphadenomas are trichoblastomas with regressive features. The pathogenesis of aberrant lymphoepithelial interactions in cutaneous lymphadenoma represents a challenge as this tumor is characterized by epithelial cells with hair follicle bulge stem cell marker expression, and it is well known that the hair follicle bulge region is a site of immune privilege. Moreover, specific markers of this tumor that would facilitate its differential diagnosis with other benign and malignant cutaneous neoplasms are still lacking. Coming to materials and methods, after Institutional Review Board approval, 11 cases of cutaneous lymphadenomas were retrieved from the author's institutional archives. These cases had been collected during the period from January 2000 to December 31st, 2019. Immunohistochemistry and next generation sequencing was performed. Coming to results, we can see both males and females are involved and the age ranging from 34 up to 78 years, and the locations were temple, upper lip, forehead, glabella, superciliary, nasolabial, forehead, thigh and preauricular regions. And the most common clinical features were papule or nodule. Coming to histopathological analysis, the most distinctive histopathological feature were the presence of dermal lobules, nest or cords of epithelial cells that were only occasionally connected to the epidermis or adnexal epithelium, along with the presence of numerous intraepithelial lymphocytes. Some of the lobules and nests had peripheral palisading with columnar or cuboidal cells. Large pale or stellate cells with one or several nuclei and prominent central nucleoli giving them a RS cell appearance were also found within some of the epithelial lobules. The epithelial nest were surrounded by the desmoplastic stroma. Coming to immunohistochemistry, all these antibodies were stained CK15, CK7, PHLDA1 and androgen receptors and various others. Here we can see CK15 immunostaining, low power view showing a strong and diffuse immunostaining in epithelial cells, and no immunoreactivity can be found in the large B cell component. Here we can see androgen receptor immunostaining. Most epithelial cells shows nuclear immunoreactivity, and peripheral cells and large cell populations show no immunoreactivity. Immunoreactivity of intralobular lymphocytes, CD45 is positive in lymphocytes, but it is negative in the RS cells. Here we can see it does not take up the stain. CD3 or magenta is positive in most of the lymphocytes. CD20 is only positive in minor lymphocytic population. Coming to next generation sequencing. Next generation sequencing analysis showed that 5 of the 9 analyzed cases of cutaneous lymphadenoma, that is 56%, presented gain of function missense EGFR, FGFR3 and PIK-C3A pathogenic somatic mutations. In addition, in 2 of the cases, ALK, mTOR, ERB3 and FGFR3 pathogenic mutations were found. All epidermal growth factor receptor mutations are pathogenic and their variant allele frequencies range from 4 to 21%. Coming to discussion, cutaneous lymphadenoma is a lymphoepithelial cutaneous tumor of disputed histogenesis and benign clinical behavior. With regard to the statement by the authors of the seminal description that cutaneous lymphadenoma has definite resemblance to desmoplastic trichoepithelioma and might represent a close entity, several authors considered cutaneous lymphadenoma as an adamantinoid trichoblastoma and stated that desmoplastic trichoepithelioma and adamantinoid trichoblastoma are merely different histopathologic expressions of a distinctive benign neoplasm composed of follicular germinative cells. Androgen receptor is one of the immunohistochemical markers proposed for the differential diagnosis between trichoblastoma and basal cell carcinoma, the latter showing commonly focal androgen receptor immunoreactivity. Despite the fact that cutaneous lymphadenoma has similar histologic features similar to desmoplastic trichoepithelioma, strong and diffuse androgen receptor immunostaining in cutaneous lymphadenoma proves that the two are distinct tumors. The invariable presence of intraepithelial lymphocytes and RS-like cells in cutaneous lymphadenoma but not in trichoblastomas also supports this contention. Furthermore, the diffuse pattern of androgen receptor immunostaining in cutaneous lymphadenoma is also different from the focal pattern found in basal cell carcinoma. The EGFR hotspot missense mutations found in cutaneous lymphadenoma are pathogenic. EGFR is involved in both androgen receptor and Notch signaling. Moreover, EGFR is required for the proliferation and appropriate coordination of molecular pathways involved in hair follicle development and adult hair follicle stem cell activation and growth. And there is evidence for a role of EGFR signaling in prevention of DNA damage in proliferating cells and susceptibility of epidermal cells to TP53 mediated apoptosis. Coming to abstract, the term cutaneous lymphadenoma was coined for an unusual lymphoepithelial cutaneous adnexal neoplasm, possibly with immature pilosebaceous differentiation. Although hair follicle differentiation is widely accepted, the fact that this is a lymphoepithelial tumor is not appropriately explained by the trichoblastoma hypothesis. Histologically, a lobular architecture surrounded by a dense fibrostroma was present in all cases. The lobules were composed of epithelial cells admixed with small lymphocytes and isolated or clustered large Reed-Sternberg cells. The epithelial cells were diffusely positive for the hair follicle stem cell markers CK15, PHLDA1 and for androgen receptor. No immunostaining for markers of sebaceous differentiation was shown. Intraepithelial lymphocytes were predominantly CD3, CD4, FOXP3 plus T cells were positive. RS-like cells showed strong cytoplasmic immunostaining. Androgen regulated nuclear immunostaining was present in a subset of large intralobular cells in all cases. Thank you.